All right. Hey, Lucy. Uh,
Hi.
hey, super excited to have you. Thanks for jumping on. So, everyone, this is Jedi from the Startup Junto series. We're going to interview Lucy Briggs here. Lucy has been a friend of mine for many years. She's a really, really cool person, and she has her own business. So, Lucy, what's your business that you created?
Sure. So the name of my business is Briggs and Briggs Marketing Services. It's a marketing services company, which I co-founded in 2016 with none other than my lovely mother, Miriam Bialy's Briggs. She
Okay.
is a senior marketing specialist with over 25 years of marketing experience at companies like IBM and American Express and General Foods. So she was a really wonderful partner to link up with for this initiative.
All right. So right off the bat, right? Because the whole purpose of the Startup Junto series is to educate people, to tell other founders, all right, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? So my first question is, was going into business with your mother, right, with your family, a good idea?
um, yes, I would say so,
Okay.
and especially since she's probably going to watch this. But honestly, I think it was a really great idea because I don't know anyone better than I know her, and she doesn't know anyone better than she knows me. And so we were able to really play to our strengths when we were starting this business. She has deep knowledge in the corporate world and has worked across a variety of industries, like travel and finance and technology. And that's all really wonderful. Um, but she doesn't really have a lot of the modern marketing skill set that
Okay.
I was able to come to the table with. I'm a social media and email marketing specialist as well as a multimedia content creator. And so a lot of the modern techniques that she wasn't familiar with, I was able to bring to the table, and a lot of the really high level corporate techniques that she's familiar with, I was able to learn from her.
Okay. So let's rewind and let's talk about like when you first started the business with her, right? You know, what, 2016 you said, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All
April
right. So,
2016.
okay. So 2016, like where were you financially? Like when you started the business, you know, like day one, you start this business, right? Do you have $1 in the bank? Do you have $500 in the bank? You know, like where are you at to start a business?
Um, zero.
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 All right.
Yeah, we didn't really come to the table with anything except for a number of aspirations. After my mom left the corporate world, she became a teacher. She taught at the MBA level as well as the undergraduate level.
Okay. Oop, I lost you for a second.
Some seminars when she was still at IBM. We had all of this material that was so wonderful that we wanted to share. And that's really why we launched our first product. It was a website. It's called brandmarketingtips.com. And
Okay.
that's where we were able to establish a community and provide a resource online for small business owners and entrepreneurs. And on that website, we have a number.
Okay. Oh, so I lost you first. I lost you for a second there.
Okay.
So wait. So let's recap that question. Uh, so you started out, you had $0, but many aspirations, right? And you had a value that you're bringing to the table, right?
Yes.
So what happened then?
So at that point, I mean, things were definitely tricky at the beginning. It was tricky because while my mom is retired, I've got a full-time job, and so that was and still is a big rock for us to get over. And so really taking on the task of launching our first product, and I was super excited. I love to say yes to opportunities, but definitely taking on a lot all at once was tricky. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs run into that same issue at the beginning, wanting to, go, 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 and kind of getting burnt out through the process.
Yeah, I know. I know. I've been there. I felt that. So, like, all right, let's dive into that because that's actually a good point. A lot of entrepreneurs when they're first starting, right, they don't quite understand the time commitment that it really takes to
Yeah.
get launched, right? So you had a full-time job, you're working 40 hours a week, normally, right? And then you're trying to start this business. Like, what did your week look like when you got home from your 9 to 5?
Well, I would kind of eat dinner at my computer pretty much as soon as I would get home. And there were a lot of nights where I'd be working straight through probably until like 10:30, 11 o'clock, most nights of the week. Sometimes I would take weekends off, but it was kind of at my desk all day long, at my dining room table all night long. And if you keep doing that, it can definitely wear on you. So
So how did
I
you
would
balance your
definitely recommend people try to manage their time better.
Yeah. How did you balance your friends, right, and your family, right? Spending time with them and spending time with your work.
Well, thankfully, my partner is my mother, so I was speaking with her pretty much constantly. So that was enough family interaction as far as I'm
Okay.
concerned. On the friend side, I don't really have any friends, to be perfectly honest. I haven't had friends in a really, really long time. I kind of gave up on that whole notion quite a while ago, but my boyfriend is very supportive, and so he was the one who was making all the dinners for me when I
That's
was,
cool.
burning the candle at both ends for basically the first year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I feel you. For me, like, I have to schedule my friend time, right? Basically have like one day a week for my friends, because the rest of the time I am, working, right? And it's a full-time commitment. It is a passion, right? But, I think that's something that's important for entrepreneurs to
Yeah.
understand is that you have to love what you're doing enough to be willing to do it every day of the week, right?
Yeah. And I mean, all jokes aside, I do hang out with people. I'm not a complete, like loner absorbed in what I'm doing, for this business. But it kind of took a while. I'd say for the first year, um, I was really just all in with this. And then kind of
Yeah.
after we started reaching some of our goals and working through some of our initial products, then I guess we kind of reached a point where we were in a rhythm. The website was done, all of our automation and email programming, everything was working. And so I wasn't so worried all the time that things might not be working or that we weren't where we wanted to be right away. But kind of after we got past that initial point where we had reached some of our goals, I felt more comfortable to, not spend every waking
Yeah.
hour on the product.
How long did it take you to get to that cusp basically where all of a sudden, it started making sense. It started rolling, right?
Probably, like, it was definitely that whole first year. So from when we started in about April 2016 until the end of that year, because kind of towards the end of that year is when we started working on writing our first book together, which I know you have a copy of, called The
Mm-hmm.
Marketing Plan Blueprint. And
Mm-hmm.
so once we started working on that piece, it kind of took more of my attention away from the day-to-day business aspect, which my mom was able to step in and do more of, and we were able to really focus on the content for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And one of the other things that I always find curious, right, is, people say that there's like a 2-year mark, right, in which, like a business is going to succeed or fail. Was there like a particular moment in your business in the past 2 years when like you hit like a critical mass where you were almost underwater?
Um,
So I guess from the very beginning, right? If you're starting at
right.
zero.
Yes, there was definitely that aspect of it. I think we probably reached that point when we were kind of making our first initial pivot. When we launched, we started with mostly services. And if you go to our website today, you'll still see a lot of those services available on there. And then eventually we pivoted to products. when we had launched with these kind of individualized hourly based consulting services, we offered them across like a narrow selection of topics like personal branding, social media advertising, and marketing plan development. And this was really fun for us because we totally relished speaking directly to our customers and getting in the nitty gritty with them about their campaigns and their products. But it was very time consuming and it was so hard to reuse our efforts since so much of what we were doing was customized, and like specific to a degree. I mean, of course, like we have standard work and a lot of the interview questions that we ask are templated and, we can reuse a lot of what we're doing foundationally across clients, but this was not an automated process by any means. And so we were, kind of getting some of those services going and just finding that it was taking a lot of time while we were still trying to put out content and do like free webinars and cross promotional efforts, things like that. So it definitely came to a head probably August of 2016. So a few months in, just trying to do too much at once between the services and the content and all that stuff, like I said. So we just like learned from that. I was like, it definitely cannot go on like this. We need to change. And so we took the feedback from that experience and, initially pivoted from those services to an online course. That was really the second thing that we did. And our thinking was that having a more generic kind of evergreen product would help people help themselves to a certain degree. And if they needed more specialized help down the road, we could help them grow larger from that point. And so that was kind of the first thing that we did. A few months down, we reached August 2016 and it's like, this is too much. We have too much going on if we are to continue to produce excellent quality products and services, for our clients. Something has to change here. And so that was the first pivot.
Okay, so let's dive into that actually, because I think that's going to be very interesting for the audience. So a lot of people start out from services, right? And they realize, hey, this isn't as scalable, right? It's not as easy. Every client is different, and they move into product, right? So my first question is a quick question is, how receptive were your clients when you started switching from services to product?
So some of the feedback that we got initially was great from our online community specifically. These were the people who had probably decided for whatever reason that they didn't want to go for the individualized consulting with us. They didn't really feel like they needed something one-on-one. Maybe they just didn't think it was the right fit, but they still recognized that they needed help. And so we surveyed and polled our Facebook audience, our email subscribers, and the clients who we had worked with, and kind of asked them, what would you like to see us do next? And we actually did this through it wasn't like an A/B test, but we had 2 forms basically for people to fill out. Which idea do you think sounds better? Yeah. And so we kind of put the question out to them, and the one that got the best response was on how to write a marketing plan. We appreciated that our followers knew that it was the most important thing to help them scale their business, and so that was really great validation for us. And so we knew we needed to find a way to deliver that in a way that could be useful to people in a variety of different industries and stages of their business.
So, okay. And you created this as a product, right? Now, when you first created the product, like what was the very first thing you did to market it? How'd you get the first user? Right? Because you definitely had a first user. How'd you get that person?
Yes. Well, I remember her name was Karen. She was so sweet. So the first thing that we did was we started with the people who had actually responded to the initial survey. And so we had tagged them, I think, in our email service provider that they had responded to the questionnaire. And we kind of told them first. We kind of did a soft beta launch with them.
And what did you use for email service provider?
We use ConvertKit,
ConvertKit.
convertkit.com.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They've been a great
Any,
partner for us so far.
okay. Any particular reason them over like MailChimp or what, SendGrid or Constant Contact?
I like their pricing. I knew
Okay.
that we were never going to have like 1 million subscribers. And so I was like, oh, maybe one day we'll have, 10,000, 20,000 subscribers. That would be great. But, just looking at some of the price breaks, I thought ConvertKit would be the best fit. And I was
Okay.
really impressed by the automation that they offered with the
Okay.
forms and the triggers and being able to add people to lists and things like that. Because I do email marketing for my day job, I knew kind of what I was looking for. And so they had all of like the really high level, tools in like a small business package. So it was an easy decision for me.
Okay, cool. And then, how much were you charging for the product? Like when the first users, signed up?
Yeah, so it was, what was it, like $275, around $300, for the initial product. And there was like a series of videos and presentation materials and, some downloadable, digital like worksheets and additional content as part of that.
Okay.
And, we had offered some additional like extra individualized consulting, as part of that, for an additional fee. And so um, one of the students for that course, did elect to upgrade to that. So that was great to see that we were actually able to, turn on at least one person from the kind of generic course to actually utilizing us for consulting services after the fact.
And did you sell that course directly from your website, or did you sell it through like one of the like platforms?
So it was linked to from our website, but we used teachable.com to host all of the materials. They really specialize in those online courses and make it really
Okay.
easy to upload content and have students and affiliate programs and all that stuff.
Okay, cool. So teachable.com. So, and you'd recommend that to, the audience starting their own like kind of courses or educational products?
I think they're the experts. They have competition. I looked into them, but I really liked how supportive Teachable was, and the prices were good too. I don't know exactly all the pricing differences right now between them and their competitors, but
Yeah.
at the time they were a good fit. Yep.
Okay, cool. No, that's pretty awesome. And now, so that $300 is a one-time purchase, or is that a subscription?
Yep, that's a one-time purchase, and it's good for life. And as we, add content, make changes, things like that, they're able to access those materials for no additional charge, and for the lifetime, of our school being open, they can go back and reference the materials at any time.
So talk to me about like a subscription model versus, a single product, a single purchase model, right? If you're constantly making updates, how does that solve your problem of, having more work for, not like the same amount of pay, right? Subscription,
Right.
you can keep giving content, and then as you're giving content, right, like people are paying monthly, right? But
Right.
once it's done, I don't understand how's it going to make you money?
Right. So we elected to go with the one-time purchase option, at least for that product, because I had seen a lot of our competitors doing these monthly subscription type, I forget what they call them, but basically you can like unlock, access to their, repository of content, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, I subscribed to pretty much every single person I could find out there on the internet with a marketing services company. And I was definitely getting emails from a lot of them, here and there. Hey guys, I'm so sorry I'm a little bit behind this month adding new content to, your resource. I promise it'll be up this week or whatever. So I was like, okay, it seems like these people are having a lot of trouble kind of upholding the agreement that they made, what they sold to their subscribers, and that they're kind of behind adding content, and maybe there's people complaining behind the scenes that they're not really delivering on the value that was promised. So I didn't really want to fall into that trap of, oh great, I want to go take a vacation this week, and so our upload is going to be delayed or behind or whatever. It's like, no, I just don't want to get into that. We'll have this school, have the course, all the materials, we won't make any promises that we're going to add content on some schedule. When we feel like adding new content, it'll be a bonus surprise. And so that's kind of the reasoning for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So promise less and over deliver is much better than promising too much and under delivering, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was our thinking.
100%. All right. Well, this is fantastic. So to kind of like wrap up here, right?
Yep.
You know, it's that you had a services company. You realized early on that you wanted to pivot, right? And you pivoted more into product based. You know, you have a single purchase model as opposed to a subscription model. It's going quite well for you, right? Which is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's like one piece of advice that you would want to give the audience? You know, like there's an entrepreneur who's starting their own company, right? They're starting same as you. They have, you know, $0, but plenty of aspirations, right? Like what's the number one thing you can think of to give them?
Definitely don't lose sight of your initial goal. The tricky thing can be that it's all very exciting at the beginning and you want to give it your all. Try to do your best to balance your time as best you can and recognize that it can definitely take a toll on you and the relationships in your life, especially if you're working with family or friends for your project. But also, like, don't get discouraged along the way, or at least try not to. You know, we had a lot of feedback at the beginning, and we worked through changes. And we didn't just pivot the first time, we pivoted a second time. And I'm sure we'll continue to do the same in the future. So try not to get discouraged when you do have to make changes, and welcome feedback with open arms, and keep working towards your goal. And I'm sure you'll get there.
That's awesome. And I think I promised you a 30-second shameless plug at the end of this. So this is the start of your 30-second shameless plug. What would you like to tell the audience that you can offer them?
Absolutely. So because it relates to today's conversation, I'll briefly talk about the third pivot that we made in our business, and the hope that it helps you and that you might get some value from it too. So, you know, taking everything that we said today, I mentioned that we pivoted a third time, and based on all the feedback that we got, we took all of the foundational material that we created from our services and the online course, and in February of this year, we published a hybrid workbook / digital resource called the Marketing Plan Blueprint. And if you are interested, it is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and other retailers worldwide. Through everything that we learned, the biggest thing that we learned was that having a marketing plan is really the core of your business. It's always been a tenet of our business, and you will find that you need something that can be referenced, updated, and shared with any of your key stakeholders, like your partners and your employees, your shareholders. And so, you know, we interviewed our subscribers, our followers, and this turned out to be the most important lesson that they learned as well. So I definitely recommend that if you're a first timer looking to how to build a marketing plan for your business and really execute on these strategies and ideas that you have in your head, feel free to check it out.
Awesome. And your website, what's your website URL?
Our website is brandmarketingtips.com.
All right. Awesome. Brandmarketingtips.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lucy. This has been amazing. You know, everyone who's listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, you know, your time today. The Startup Junto series is all about this. It's all about, you know, connecting entrepreneurs with other founders to share their experiences, to share their wisdom, to share what they did right and what they did wrong, right? You know, to all the pivots and all of the journey along the way. So tune in next time, tune in next week. We're going to have another founder interview. We'll have some more advice. And one more time, Lucy, your URL, in case they want to check you out.
Sure. It is brandmarketingtips.com.
Fantastic. Brandmarketingtips.com.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you so much. And I hope to see you very soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.